All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, always fun to dig into these fascinating stories, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we've got a really interesting one lined up today.
Oh, I think so too.
We're going to be looking at excerpts from Tobiah's journey and the angel's counsel.
Hmm.
And this one is, um, it's not your typical historical account, right?
No, not at all.
There's some really surprising insights into things like ancient travel.
Yeah, and some strange remedies
Oh, yeah.
that they used back then.
Yeah, and some honestly really dramatic family situations.
Oh, it's a real page turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think of this as your kind of express lane to understanding, the core stories of
Yeah.
these writings and some really unusual details within them.
Right. We've done the heavy lifting for you. We've gone through all the source material, and we're going to give you the highlights.
Exactly. And I think our listeners are in for a treat with this one.
I think so too.
There are some really, really fascinating elements in this story.
Yeah, get ready for talking angels and fish with surprising uses.
I was going to say, you can't just tease talking angels and not give us a little more.
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay. All right, so let's dive right in, shall we?
Just do it.
So the story begins with a young man named Tobiah, and he's setting off on a journey.
Right.
But he's not alone. He has an angel accompanying him and his dog.
The whole crew.
Yeah. They're headed to a place called Rages.
Uh-huh.
And at some point, they stop to camp out by the Tigris River for the night.
Yeah.
Sounds peaceful so far, right?
So far, so good.
Well, that peace doesn't last very long. As Tobiah is washing his feet in the river, completely out of nowhere, a large fish jumps out and tries to swallow his foot.
I can only imagine the shock.
Oh, I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The angel, who has been watching all this happen,
Only watching, yeah.
calmly watching, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he just tells Tobiah, grab the fish, hold on tight,
No panic at all.
just like wrestle this huge river creature.
Yeah, just another Tuesday.
And Tobiah does it. He manages to pull the fish out of the water.
Strong guy.
Yeah, right. But the angel's instructions don't stop there. He tells Tobiah to cut the fish open
Okay.
and remove its gall, its heart, and its liver, and set those aside.
Okay.
And then throw the rest of the insides away.
Interesting.
So we've gone from like a surprise fish attack to impromptu fish surgery.
Right. Talk about a sudden turn of events.
And it gets even weirder. The angel specifically says that the gall, heart, and liver are useful for medicine.
Ah, okay. So I guess we're starting to understand the reason for the fish operation.
Yeah, like who knew fish organs were an essential part of your ancient travel kit?
Not me.
Right. But then, to make things even more interesting, Tobiah roasts and eats part of the fish and salts the rest for their journey.
Yeah, gotta keep moving. Gotta eat.
Yeah, so it's this mix of like the completely bizarre and then the totally mundane.
Yeah, it's fascinating how they're just interwoven in this story.
Yeah. And, it kind of shows you how differently people might have viewed the world back then.
Oh, absolutely. This idea of the natural and the supernatural being completely intertwined.
Totally.
So after this whole watery encounter, they continue on towards Media.
Yeah.
And it's not long before Tobiah, who's probably pretty curious about this fish organ medicine, asks the angel,
Right.
who he calls Brother Azariah, a pretty straightforward question. What medicine is in the fish's heart, liver, and gall?
I mean, wouldn't you want to know?
Oh, 100%.
You've just been told to save these very specific parts of a fish for medical purposes.
Right, give me the detail.
Exactly. So what does the angel say?
Well, he explains that if you burn the fish's heart and liver and create smoke in the presence of someone who is suffering from a demon or an evil spirit,
Oh.
that affliction will essentially be scared off and never return.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just any old medicine.
Yeah.
It's specifically for these spiritual or demonic issues.
Really makes you think about how people viewed illness and, what caused it back then.
Oh, completely. Different time, different understanding.
For sure. Okay, what about the gall? Does that have like a specific use too?
Oh, it does. So the angel explains that if you apply the gall to the eyes of someone with white scales.
White scales.
Yeah, and this is often thought to refer to cataracts or maybe another eye problem, and you blow into their eyes,
Okay.
their sight will be restored.
Very specific instructions.
Oh, absolutely. And again, for a very particular ailment.
So if we think about all this,
Yeah.
it paints a picture of this really interesting ancient approach to healing, right?
Right.
Where you have these practical actions,
Mm-hmm.
like applying the gall,
Yeah.
but then also these elements that might seem more symbolic or spiritual.
Right, right.
Like burning the heart and liver for spiritual problems.
I mean, it really highlights the connection between physical and spiritual well-being in their understanding.
Totally.
Yeah.
So after this crash course in, fish-based medicine.
Right, fish pharmacy.
Yeah, exactly. They keep going on their journey, and they get close to a city called Ecbatana. And here's where the angel, now calling Tobiah brother Tobiah, throws in a little bit of a surprise.
Okay, what's that?
He reveals that they're going to be staying the night at the house of Raphael,
Okay.
who it turns out is a relative of Tobiah.
Small world,
Right.
even back then.
Yeah, it seems so.
And it gets even more intriguing. The angel tells Tobiah about Raphael's daughter, Sarah.
Oh.
And he points out that she's Raphael's only child.
Mm.
But then he drops this really important piece of information.
Yeah?
Because Tobiah is Sarah's closest relative.
Oh.
He has the right to marry her
Uh-huh.
and also to inherit her father's property.
Oh, wow. So this family connection comes with some potential perks.
Yeah. And the angel doesn't hold back on the praise for Sarah either.
Oh.
He describes her as wise, courageous, and beautiful.
Hmm.
And he says her father is a good man who loves her very much.
It's like an ideal situation.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
Well, not so fast. So the angel's feeling pretty confident, right?
Uh-huh. And he suggests to Tobiah that he'll speak to Raphael that night to arrange the marriage. He even mentions that the wedding feast will happen after they get back from Rages.
Okay.
And he says pretty clearly that Raphael can't refuse because of, legal obligations from the Book of Moses.
So the angel's not messing around. He's like, we're getting this marriage done.
Yeah. But Tobiah's response is not quite so enthusiastic.
Oh, why not?
He's heard some pretty disturbing things about Sarah.
What's that?
Apparently, she's been married 7 times before.
Wow. 7 times.
And every single one of her husbands has died on their wedding night.
Oh, no. That's not a good track record.
No, it's not good at all. And the story goes that a demon who's in love with Sarah is the one responsible.
Oh, okay. So now we have a supernatural element.
Right. So, how would you feel?
In Tobiah's shoes, I'd be pretty terrified, honestly.
Yeah, you're being told you have a right to marry this woman, and she sounds wonderful.
Right.
But there's this really dark cloud hanging over her.
Yeah, you don't want to be husband number 8.
Definitely not. And Tobiah voices this fear, right?
Yeah.
He says he's afraid of this demon, in that it doesn't hurt Sarah, but it kills any man who tries to, be with her.
That's a pretty big obstacle to overcome.
Yeah. And if that wasn't enough to make you hesitate, Tobiah brings up his own family.
Oh.
He's his parents' only child. And he's worried that if he dies, it's going to devastate them, especially in their old age.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Right. So he's not just thinking about himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's thinking about his family, too.
Makes sense. That's a huge burden to carry.
It is. But the angel, ever the reassuring presence, steps in again.
Okay.
He reminds Tobiah of his father's instruction to marry within their own family.
Yeah.
So kind of addressing that initial concern.
Right. Right.
But then he gives some crucial information about the demon.
Okay. What's that?
He tells Tobiah not to be afraid. And he says, when they go into the bridal chamber, they need to take some of that fish liver and heart and burn it on incense embers.
Okay.
And apparently, the smell that's created will drive the demon away for good.
So there's the solution.
Yeah. Who knew fish organs were so versatile?
Right. Multi-purpose.
And the angel doesn't stop there. He gives Tobiah and Sarah some further instructions.
Oh.
He says that before they, consummate the marriage, they need to rise and pray and ask for mercy and protection from God.
This is like a combination of practical steps and spiritual ones.
Exactly. And then, as if all that wasn't enough, the angel gives Tobiah this really powerful reassurance.
Okay.
He tells him that Sarah was set apart for him before the world even existed.
Wow.
Like this idea of destiny.
Yeah.
And he says, I will save her. You will have children, and she will be like a sister to you.
I mean, that's got to be reassuring coming from an angel.
Oh, absolutely. So how does Tobiah react to all this?
Well, hearing that Sarah is his kinswoman, that she's part of his family line, and with these, reassurances from the angel, he falls deeply in love with her.
Wow.
And he becomes determined to marry her.
So it seems like this mix of like family duty, divine guidance, and maybe a little bit of destiny, it all comes together to, convince him.
It's a powerful combination.
It is. So if we look at Tobiah's journey as a whole, it's anything but ordinary.
It's a wild ride.
We've got these unexpected encounters with, giant fish.
Yeah.
We've got these surprising remedies.
Right, from unexpected sources.
And this really complex family situation with like a supernatural element to it.
It's got it all.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it all seems to get worked out through this combination of divine intervention and some very specific actions.
Yeah, it's not just like passively waiting for things to happen.
No, they're taking action.
Yeah.
So to sum it all up for our listeners,
yeah.
You've encountered a fish whose organs have these surprising medicinal properties.
Don't forget that one.
An angel who offers both practical travel advice and really profound spiritual guidance.
A multi-talented angel.
Yeah. And then a woman who seems to be haunted by a demon, but ultimately is destined for,
For Tobiah.
For Tobiah, yeah.
It's a story that keeps you on the edge of your seat.
It does. And it makes you think, what is this blend of the practical and the supernatural in this ancient narrative?
Yeah.
Tell us about how people in the past understood things like health, relationships, the challenges they faced. How do these ancient concerns, finding a partner, dealing with illness, facing unseen forces, how do those resonate with you today? Or how are they different from your own experience?
It's definitely something to ponder.
It is. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, a lot to think about.
But that's what we do here on The Deep Dive.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode.
Until next time.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next Deep Dive.
Bye for now.